Hey everyone, Jeff here from Next Level Sax. I'm so excited to share this masterclass and interview with the amazing Bryn Ripley. Bryn is one of those artists who makes you stop and think about where jazz is headed. She's not only an incredible saxophonist, but she's also a true digital native, someone who's building a jazz career by combining tradition with the power of social media and new technology. In this conversation, we cover a ton of ground, including her go-to warm-up routine and why it's all about keeping mental health first, how she practices time feel to keep her playing locked in at any tempo, her most ridiculous gig horror story, you don't want to miss this one, how she's carving out a career in jazz through social media and marketing with strategies specific to our world, the importance of having the foresight to build your career in the direction you want to go and setting yourself up for future success. And we even dive into her favorite platforms, strategies, apps, and the patterns she's noticed in going viral. Yes, even in the jazz world. This one is packed with insights that go beyond the saxophone, so whether you're here for playing tips or inspiration or behind the scenes of building your modern jazz career, you're gonna love it. Before we dive in, I want to share 3 resources with you that go hand in hand with what we're talking about. First, my brand new Jazz Saxophone Standards Etude Workbook. It's over 70 pages of complete etudes, exercises, and key insights for tunes like All the Things You Are, Giant Steps, Cherokee, Rhythm Changes, and more. It's designed to work with you alongside the video lessons on the Next Level Sax channel, so you'll always have something on your stand to practice. Check this description below for a special offer. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Second, my digital course, the Jazz Saxophone Blueprint, Mastering Tone, Articulation, and Time Feel. This is a complete roadmap to mastering the fundamentals that I rely on. Tone that resonates, articulation that swings, and a time feel that's solid in any situation. It's packed with 25 video lessons, play-alongs, and a 179-page workbook. And finally, the Next Level Sax Community subscription. This is where it all comes together. Weekly PDFs and lesson drops, access to live stream masterclasses like this one, exclusive digital lessons you won't find anywhere else, and a community of saxophonists to learn and grow with. So stick around, you're about to hear Bryn Ripley share not only her artistry, but also her mindset, her stories, and her strategies for thriving as a modern jazz musician. Let's jump into the masterclass. Beautiful.
There you go.
Awesome. You know, it's not as often that you hear somebody play a melody
Yeah.
when you say play.
I know. I'm being honest, I'm not like a very technical player. I'm a lot more of like a I don't know, emotional, soulful player. That's where I feel like I really shine. And I guess we'll talk about that too a little bit. But that's where I found my niche to be. Is like I play with soul. So if I'm gonna play something that defines me, that's what I'm gonna go for. So
Well, I mean, everybody can connect with that though,
Yeah.
which is the beauty of the melody. Yeah, we get, including myself, get really caught up in the other stuff, you know, that is not serving the melody as well or as much. And it's refreshing. to hear just a beautiful sound.
Good.
Let's go ahead and let's get right into the setup. What are you playing on?
So I'm on a Yamaha Custom Z.
Hmm.
This beauty. My dad also plays on that. And then a Jody Jazz DVHR, I think the tip opening 7.
Okay.
And then a D'Addario Select Jazz 2 hard reed. But on tenor, I have the exact same setup on tenor, except I play a 3 soft.
Mm. And so is the custom because that's what you're exposed to? Did you try other stuff or?
Yeah, I've tried other stuff. And I do play on curved, let's see, Cannonball, like Big Bell Stone series. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't.
Well, I play
feel like I should.
my curved soprano is Cannonball. And I love that. But with Yamaha, I think, yeah, it's like partially my dad is a Yamaha artist. And so I grew up watching him play on Yamaha. And so I'm like, this is like the family tradition a little bit. But I also just love my sound on the Yamaha Custom Zs.
Now, the mouthpiece, is that something you've been with for a while, or do you find that you kind of go back and forth or to other things? Or?
Yeah, the DVHR's new. I mean, I've always been on Jody Jazz too. That's also another thing that I'm a Jody Jazz artist now, but I mean, that's like literally within the past year. So it's, I don't know. I guess Jody Jazz is also just something I've always like, I'm not a gearhead. I'm not. And like some of my students are like, oh, help me figure out all this stuff. I'm like, listen, you just got to experiment on your own and figure it out because that's how I am. But yeah, so I just got the DVHR. They just released this. So I had been playing on just the DV for, I don't even know how long, 7 years. And then they sent me this, and I actually love it. I love the DVHR so much. So then I switched to that for my alto and tenor.
And then any other like pieces of gear, like any kind of like neck screws or different elements in there?
No, I'm so minimal, I guess, with my gear. I wish that I got more into the nitty gritty stuff, but I really don't. It's just like, this is my setup. Has always been my setup, and it works for me.
Well, that's the main thing, that it works for you, and it sounds like it does.
That's good. I'm glad you agree. That's good to hear.
Yeah, I haven't gone down the rabbit hole with all the different necks and things, and I think it's fascinating, and it could be really useful. But I did find I play on a super balanced for tenor. Primarily, I play tenor, and I have 2 super balanced, and there's a huge difference between the 2. And I had been playing on one for like 10 years and just really fighting to play in tune. And then I got a different one. I didn't play it because it had never been played before, and I didn't, I felt like weird playing it. But it plays so much more in tune, so I have to go with that.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized there is like a huge difference between, just the horns themselves. And of course, the vintage horns lend themselves more to those,
for sure,
those things than the modern horns are trying to be more consistent. Right. Now you mentioned that, one thing that I didn't mention when we got together just a little while ago is that I've seen you play a lot.
You mentioned that in your email to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, yes, we need to talk about this.
I've seen you play. I've been to the Jazz Educators Conference for the last 7 or 8 years.
It's awesome.
And I feel like you've probably been there every single time.
For a while, yeah.
And so I've seen, the big band and what you and your dad and that whole community have been doing. So I'd like to get into that here. And just always amazed by your playing.
Oh, thank you.
And just the joy that comes out. That's something that, the notes aren't going to give you or give the audience member the same feeling as if you are expressing that joy. That's something I have to work really hard on because, I kind of get up there and it's really easy for me to kind of get in my own zone and think about other things that are not emoting, visually at least what's happening. And it's always a pleasure to see you play. And let's talk about your upbringing. One of my questions, and if you see me looking down, it's because I wrote down a lot of questions that I wanted to ask you. I'm not texting anybody.
Who are you texting?
Right. Yeah,
hello? You want to share with the class?
That is not happening. But one of those questions is, was there a moment that you said, this is what I want to do?
Oh, that's such a good question. It depends on like what we define as this. Is like this being music? I think that was just pretty much my entire life. I mean, I grew up, like you were mentioning, like with my dad playing music. That was, it was kind of just always gonna be the case that I was gonna do music. My older brother is an incredible drummer, and then I came behind him, and I was like, this is just my heritage a little bit, and I just loved it. I mean, I grew up going to my dad's shows like every weekend, and I wanted to be a vocalist. I wanted to be Hannah Montana, more specifically. And it wasn't until I was 12. Okay. Well, funny side note, I would walk around the house when I was like 6 or 7, and I would sing around my dad because I was like, hopefully he'll like notice me as like a star and be like, get her on the stage. Anyways, never happened that way. But when I was 12, I was like downstairs in my basement room, and my dad called down and he was like, do you want to play saxophone? And I was like, me? I thought he was talking to my brother. And he was like, yeah, you. And I was like, yeah, which was a total lie. I didn't want to play saxophone. It's like, no. But I wanted to make him happy. And so that week, he gave me my first saxophone lesson. And I guess he and my mom had been talking for a while, like, we need to get Bryn playing something. Let's get her on sax and whatever. And so I think once I started playing, that's when I decided I was going to do saxophone. So when I was 12, maybe 13, that I started really getting into it and doing my dad's program and performing and touring and just being around a lot of really motivated kids. And I grew to love it then.
Yeah, that's quite a community that your dad and a lot of the teachers, including yourself, have put together. Tell me a little bit more about that.
So I'm really good at the sales pitch because I used to do sales for the Soundhouse. So I'll just give you my rundown. So the Soundhouse is an after-school music program for kids ages 12 to 18. And it's awesome. I mean, they have 20 different bands ranging in all different genres, but it started out with jazz because my dad is a saxophonist. And he went to BYU, got a music degree, was going to be a band director, and then was like, I can't do this. So, well, at least in like the public school system. And so he's like, I'm going to do it a different way. And so he started out with the Crescent Super Band, which was like a high school big band. And then from there, they just added on bands and bands. I mean, it started, I think he opened it when I was like the year I was born. So 25 years ago.
Okay. And there's a whole system around the the methodology behind the teachings as well that's been, cultivated and refined over all those years. And I think it's been put into, a systemized kind of methodology.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think the best part of the Soundhouse is that you get to have these insane opportunities that even like college kids that are paying so much money for this education don't get to experience. And it truly changed my life. I mean, being able to work with so many different incredible artists and just see people doing this career up front and close. I mean, granted, I didn't work with a lot of women. And so that's something that I want to then also provide the opportunity for other girls growing up wanting to play sax specifically, but I still got to work with a lot of incredible artists that made me love the instrument. And so what's interesting about the Soundhouse is they don't teach you the instrument, they teach you how to be a professional player. So that's where I got all my skills from to now be set up for a successful career. So it's the whole idea is like you take private lessons and then you come to rehearsal ready to perform and learn how to be like a performer and be able to gig and network. And I mean, the people I played with when I was 12 in the Soundhouse, I mean, I'm having them record on my next album, 10, 15 years later. So anyways, it's really awesome.
It's incredible. And it's very inspiring. I always am inspired every time I hear the groups and what you guys are all doing. Is there an artist, or do you remember when you were on stage with a well-known artist or somebody where you're like, wow, is this really happening?
Yeah, I mean, with Jeff Coffin, oh my gosh, that guy. Well, first of all, he's kind of like my uncle because he and my dad are so close, but he's just insane. Like his playing is just like otherworldly. So yeah, I played with him several times, and oh my gosh, Jeff, if you're out there, how do you do it? Jeff, hello. But no, and I just love his like whole, and this is something that I think would be fun to talk about too, but like his whole personality or persona is like a part of his playing too. And he has that goatee, and he's just a great guy and a great player. So it's even that cooler to perform with him when I was like 14 or something. So
yeah, I mean, what an experience. I had some sort of similar experiences in that I went to camps, in the summer that brought in guest artists, and that was my version of what you were getting all year round.
24/7, yeah.
Yeah, and I had a really great band and a lot of support as well. But yeah, Jeff's an amazing player, amazing guy. Yeah, he's super nice. And every time I'm at the conference, I try out the mouthpieces, and he, helps give advice, only somebody that with his caliber and expertise can.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
I know I want to get to a couple of things. I want to get to a bit of the session work and kind of preparation with that, some of your practice strategies and go-to things, and then, of course, the music business side of things, because I feel like that's one thing, it's a big area that especially jazz musicians kind of struggle with, at least people in my generation, so to speak, a little earlier. I did not grow up with social media. That was introduced to me in my college years.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like kind of a bit of a catch-up game. And I know that's, you've been around when social media has been there the whole time, and it's a whole different ball game as far as marketing yourself, and you're doing that so well. So I definitely want to get into that. But let's talk about, I've got a couple questions here as far as practice routines.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a go-to warm-up practice routine that has been with you for a while, or do you fluctuate between different practice routines, or do you not have one? Or
It really depends on, I feel like, the phase of life that I'm in. Like in junior high, I practiced 2 hours every day, and I mean, the warm up I did was like scales because I was learning scales. And then in high school, I was working on full range chromatic and some overtone stuff and long tones. And then in college, I was focusing on literally everything. and then now that I'm like gigging professionally, I mean, I talk about college being like years ago. I graduated in April, but pretty much it's it depends if I'm on tenor or alto, I guess, because I have different weaknesses for that too. So, but overall, I try to work on range work right now and getting a full sound high and low, and intonation, just trying to like match pitch and be able to adjust pretty easily in all ranges.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, I kind of just do, I'm like, what's the best way to explain this? So I start on low D this is like the first thing I do. I'm trying to focus on going between the palm key notes. So D, E flat, E, F, F sharp. But then I start, 2 octaves below and then go up a fifth to A for D, and then D, A, D, A, D, A, D. So I'm comparing all these notes within the different range, and then I go up a half step to E flat, and then E flat, B flat, E flat, B flat. And I listen, I'm like, okay, that E flat there was like a little thin. So then I try to compare it. Whoops. So just kind of working through there. So that's like what gets me really moving around. And then also just playing chromatically to get my fingers warmed up. Because that's the biggest thing I struggle with, I think, is moving my fingers together. So
technique.
Nothing like insane right there, but that's what helps me, I don't know, typically get moving around both in my embouchure and with my fingerings.
Yeah, it's interesting you play that because when Kirsten was here a week or two ago, same type of warm-up with the open intervals, fourths and fifths, and just, getting familiar with, getting the horn to respond, and then hearing those, because that's not an easy thing to hear. We are more likely to play in tune when it's stepwise motion. And anytime we've got those leaps, it's a challenge because there is more happening.
Yeah.
Mostly probably in here more than in the embouchure, but definitely have to hear those. Yeah. That's great. When you have a recording session or a gig, what's the 24 hours, what's the 24 hours like leading up to it?
That's a good question. Like with playing and live or like...
Well, yeah, let's say you've got a session, you're doing some session work. Anything that you do to prepare for that that's different than an average practice?
I mean, I try not to like play too much ahead of time. Because I've done that before where I'm like playing way too much and then I have a gig and I literally my lips are just destroyed and I'm not able to do it. So I think if it's like a really long gig or a big gig, I try to I want to be familiar. I'm someone that wants control. So I'm like, I need to know exactly what I'm playing. I need to have it in my mind, but then I don't want to also psych myself out, So it's like if you have a big show the day of, I would run through what I'm supposed to play 2 or 3 times, and then I'm like, that's it. I don't want to overdo it, and I don't want to mess up and then psych myself out and then trip up over it later. So as far as that goes, I mean, I don't know if I have a crazy good ritual in that way, but I'm more just the mental preparation is setting myself up for success and not getting too anxious about it because I do get in my head about those things.
Well, yeah. Do you have a way that you balance the mental game or any rituals with that?
Therapy. I mean, I'm overall just an anxious person who I really, really, really struggled with performance anxiety and stuff like that, especially when I was growing up. But I think what really helped was being prepared, first of all, because when you're so nervous, I feel like your skills kind of go out the window a little bit, right? You trip up on things that are literally the easiest thing in the world, or you tongue the wrong way, or your embouchure just is all of a sudden really loose because you're just not fully locked in. And so at least having everything down to your best ability, or to the fullest extent that you can, really, it makes it a lot less likely that you're going to trip up on things because you have a stronger foundation. But yeah, I really struggled with performance anxiety growing up, and if I played too much during day of, then I would just get freaked out, right? And so it's almost like even if I do mess up, I'm just like, it is what it is. and recognizing that worst case scenario, you look so stupid and then people move on, right? So,
Well, that's a good approach. I had to learn that, for me, I like to be really prepared, and I'll practice right up until that moment.
mm,
And I would have, I would try to organize rehearsals, like for my band or for like in college recitals. And a lot of the guys would be like, "Yo, we're not going to rehearse 4 times for your recital."
yeah.
I'm like, "What do you mean?" I mean, like we gotta
You're not as committed to this as I am? Is that what you're telling me?
It's like we gotta know the tunes. He's like, and they're like, "Dude, it's gonna be much better
Mm-hmm.
if it's fresh."
For
And
sure.
I used to think that was a myth. And then, I'm actually, I don't know about you, but for me, when I'm in the recording session, my first take is usually the best.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It has the most like soul behind it too. You kind of lose a piece of your soul with each take. At least with social media and recording that, that's like I'm like, oh my gosh, 50th take. I'm like, who is that? I don't recognize that person anymore. So, yeah.
Speaking of foundation, you mentioned foundation. I was just thinking, anything like any time feel specific things that you work on when it comes to time feel, because I know it's so necessary and essential, but it's kind of like it's like working on sound in a way. It's like kind of like this obscure
It just
topic.
comes to you a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, I wish I had like a better answer. That's a really good question. I mean, for me, being founded in 1 and 3 is the best way to stay in time, and basing everything off of that, because if you have a tempo of like you're like panicking. Like that is so much better. So I mean, also it's just easier to count, right? 1, 3, 1, 3. Like you can feel 8 measures so much easier that way. So that's what's helped me, especially with sight reading. Just thinking in 2, so focusing on the beginning of the measure, the middle of the measure, and then having everything based off of that. So, if it's a ricochet off the downbeat, have you heard of that? Like, kind of.
Oh yeah,
perspective?
yeah, definitely, and it's really interesting to me that a lot of people have different ways in which they go about it. A lot of people swear by 2 and 4, and that's the hi hat, and that's kind of where I've learned to feel my time. If it's a medium tempo,
Mhm.
once it gets fast, 1 and 3, but anything below 200. Thinking 2 and 4.
Interesting.
But then there's also, I don't know if you've seen this really great video of Joe Lovano where he demonstrates thinking about the beat in different subdivisions.
Interesting.
So he's like, okay, I'm going to think about it as on every 8th note. And it's like a slower tempo. And he's like, I'm going to think of quarter notes, half notes. Then he's like, I'm going to think about just the 1. And he plays completely different each
Interesting.
time.
Yeah.
It's super cool.
It really is a mindset, right? Which is so interesting. I'll have to check that out, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I've kind of done like variations of that before, especially when it gets so slow. You kind of have to think of the 8th notes as like each beat. But yeah, that's interesting.
Well, I think you're absolutely right, though. If you can, get larger subdivisions, it feels less frantic. No matter how you want to divvy that up, whatever helps is helpful. I always like to ask about gig horror stories.
Oh, I'm so ready. This is awesome. Like, what's the worst gig I've ever had? Or
Well, it could be, or just something that happened on the gig or leading up to the gig, or
okay, anything party band is kind of like that's the worst for me. I tell this story all the time because it's just like the shock on people's faces it really just like does it for me. But okay, so it was my first party band gig ever.
Now, party band, what do you mean by party band?
Like for weddings
Okay.
and corporate events, stuff like that. So I think I was still in high school. I was a senior. We had this party band gig. It was for a wedding. in Wyoming, like in the middle of nowhere, Wyoming. Like beautiful town, but there wasn't like a music store within like an hour radius. Okay, so we pull up and you get there super early to sound check and all this stuff. And the sound guy forgot all the power cables. All of them. And we're in the middle of nowhere. And we're all like, how are we going to play? And I mean, these people, not only is it their wedding and you don't want to mess up someone's wedding, they're paying so much money for this band, right? And so we're all freaking out. And it's this guy, he's like in college probably. It's not like he has like $2,000 to just drop on cables. Anyway, so he drives to the nearest town to try to buy a ton of power cables. And the rest of the band, I think we just don't sound check and hope everything goes okay. Anyway, so then they serve us dinner. And I was in high school. It was my first party band gig. I didn't have a sax stand. So I placed my alto, I think it was this alto, on the floor. And one of the caterers stepped on it and bent my octave key up. This was up and everything else was I didn't find it till a while later because I was eating dinner. And then, so I was 30 minutes before we're going on, bending my horn into shape so I could get a sound out of it. And then our two vocalists got food poisoning. And so they were throwing up and we're all this is the worst ever. Anyway, so we're on stage performing. Vocalists are taking turns going off stage, throwing up. But at least we have power, right? And at least my horn's making a sound. So as, most high-end weddings are, they have an open bar, right? And so people are wasted. The crowd's not fully there. So anyways, I'm out in the crowd, playing, trying to just hype people up. A drunk lady takes my saxophone out of my mouth and starts sucking on my mouthpiece. In the crowd. And I just have to go, whoop. I just got to keep going. I take it out of her mouth and back into mine and just keep playing. And I was like, what just happened? That was so gross. Anyways, so we finished the gig. I'm like, what is this party band world? This is the worst gig I've ever had. Anyways, so we have to drive 5 hours back the next day. We don't get done till midnight with the show. And then our hotel is an hour the opposite direction of our going back home. So then we drive 45 minutes to an hour to our hotel, adds on another hour to driving then back home at 8, 9 a.m. the next morning. And we were all just wrecked. And I went on and did party band gigs for another freaking 8 years? Why did I do that? I don't know. That was my worst gig ever. Ever.
Well, it's kind of funny that it was your first
right
gig in that world. Yeah, that I would have been that's it for me. I think I would just handed her the horn.
I know, it's this is yours now. You, wow, okay. Yeah, that was horrible. I think about that all the time, and I'm like, ooh, I was 18, I think, or 17 too. So, anyways, my horn's okay. Got that figured out, but
well, it's probably good that you were only 18 when it happened, because I think if you had been doing it for a long time, yeah, that would have been the end of that.
I would have, yeah. Also, I think I would have known, okay, this isn't normal. But I'm like, oh, I guess this is just what people do at party band shows. So,
hey there, sorry to jump in real quick while you're watching, but if you've been digging this video so far, I've got something I think you'll really want to check out. Let me ask you this. You've studied the theory, you've learned the licks, you've played the heads, and even transcribed the solos, but your own playing still isn't locking in like the greats. Why not? Most players think they need more vocabulary or fancier substitutions to sound better, but in reality, the missing piece, the thing that actually makes someone sound like a jazz player, isn't more notes. It's tone, articulation, and time feel. And that's exactly what this course is built around. Welcome to the Jazz Saxophone Blueprint, mastering tone, articulation, and time feel. This is my complete step-by-step course to help you build your sound, style, and swing feel your playing has been missing. This isn't just a random collection of lessons, it's the result of decades of study, performance, and teaching, all distilled into a structured system that has helped saxophonists finally sound the way they know they're capable of. Inside, you'll get access to over 25 in-depth video lessons. No fluff, just the exact methods I use with students and pros. Full demonstration videos so you can hear and see exactly how each concept works. Downloadable PDFs for every exercise, phrase, and concept. No guesswork. A complete course workbook that includes all exercises in one place, plus a key insights section for every lesson so you can absorb the most important takeaways and track your progress clearly. You'll learn how to develop a resonant, focused tone through overtone and tuning exercises, and how to build a swing and time feel through articulation, breath accents, pivot patterns, and blues phrasing. This course is designed to meet you where you are, and it's totally self-paced. You can move freely between lessons and sections at any time, but I've also organized everything in a clear progression to help you get the most out of the material. Plus, you'll be able to download a full book of 200 jazz phrases over the most important chord progression in jazz, the 2-5-1. This is a lifetime study of vocabulary with bebop phrasing, alter dominant ideas, and even a built-in practice tracker to help you stay on course. You'll also get bonus lessons like my 5-step improvisation method, a major chord and scale workout, blues phrasing and how to keep things rhythmically interesting, a full melodic breakdown of blue bossa, bebop enclosures, approach notes, and sidestepping sequences. Whether you're an adult learner getting back into playing the horn, a serious high school player preparing for auditions, or a professional looking to refine your core sound, this course gives you the foundation to play musically, confidently, and authentically. So if you're tired of guessing, if you're tired of sounding almost there, click the link and join me inside the Jazz Saxophone Blueprint. Let's make your playing feel as good as it sounds in your head. I'll see you inside the course.
I have so many stories though with our party band shows. Like that, I don't like people getting into fist fights next to the stage, and we're playing like "Come On Eileen," and they're just like throwing punches, like crazy stuff. But that one's like the worst for sure.
Yeah, that's that'll stick with you.
Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It's a thing of nightmares for sure.
Yeah, I don't have anything quite that bad. I went to get on stage once at a big Hollywood party gig type thing, and my pants ripped right up the inseam as I went to get on the stage.
Oh,
And
that's pretty bad.
yeah, it was a nightmare. But I was, facing the back of the audience, so I was, or I guess they couldn't see behind me. So
Yeah.
I basically just played, I just had my back towards.
Wow.
I'd never showed my back towards them.
Yeah.
Even when I got off stage,
You
I
just,
backed
like,
out.
yeah.
I backed into the elevator,
Okay,
down the
good,
elevator,
good.
backed into the
And then the
Uber.
rest of your life, you only move that way.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I forgot my reeds once. And that was, yeah.
Okay, I will say this. A year and a half ago, I got called to do just like this big band gig up in Salt Lake. And I was in Park City with my family on like a little trip. And so I'm like, perfect. I'll just, loop around that night for the gig. And they sent me the charts. And this totally is my fault. I didn't read the music ahead of time because I was like cocky in my sight reading abilities. So I'm like, I just saw that it said read 2, right? Which typically means second alto. So I was like, great, I'll bring my alto. We'll be good to go. Anyways, so I'm about to leave for the gig, and I realized they hired me on tenor, not alto. Read 2 was like tenor because they only had 3 saxes. And so then I was like, I was able to get a tenor in time, but that was like a thing of nightmares. Like showing up without reeds, showing up without the right instrument. Like that is so scary. I have nightmares that I get up to play a solo, and instead of blowing through the instrument, I sing into my horn instead, and I don't know what's going on with me. And I go, and people are like booing me. I have that dream all the time. So it'll happen to me someday, I'm sure.
Okay. I love that. Let's get into some of the music business stuff.
Okay.
I know that you've really carved out a path on your own through social media and music business avenues. So I want to make sure that we get into some of that. Let's see here. I have in jazz, the traditional path was gigs, touring, and teaching. How do you see the modern career path shifting?
That's a good question. I'm only 23 years old. I don't know much. But if I were to say something, I think through social media, a lot of more, routes have opened up for people who want to make a living playing saxophone. Because like you said, it's like you either teach or you gig. That's like the two things. And I'm not particularly like, I only want to gig or I only want to teach. I kind of want to do both. And I mean, overall, I just want to be a rock star, right? That's my Hannah Montana is still within me, right? That's my ultimate goal. But I think social media allows you to do both. I think it allows you to work with people all over the world. I mean, you don't have to just be stuck teaching one-on-one lessons for like $30 an hour, which also isn't like really feasible either as to make a living. Like, I don't know about you, but I plan on like, being able to not live in just like a cramped apartment for the rest of my life. And maybe that's ambitious. And in this economy, maybe it is. But I'm like, that's what I'm planning on. And so I think I'm also, I saw my dad who really paved his own way within the industry too and like made a good living off of it by finding what he's good at. And so I've really taken my inspiration from that because, I mean, my dad's a good player, but he's an even better educator. Like I've grown up watching him still in awe. Like I got the same degree as he did. I worked with the same teacher as he did. And I'm still like, that is just like a natural talent that I don't have that he does. And he found a way to monetize it. And so that's what I'm doing for myself. And I feel that also learning to sell yourself as a brand, not just your playing, but I mean, there's a million people that can probably play the same thing as you, but there's only one version of you playing that. And so monetizing and like creating a brand of not just your playing, but you as a person, I think is a lot more feasible with social media.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Along the same lines, you've built not just an audience, but a community.
Mm.
And what strategies have worked for fostering real connection, not just followers?
I think finding my niche that I'm passionate about and consistent with that then attracts people within that same niche. So I'm not posting what's trending. I'm posting what feels genuine to me. And people are attracted to that. I do see, other creators or other artists that have way bigger platforms than me, but get very little engagement, as far as like ratio from followers to engagement and views. And it's because they're just posting what goes viral. They're not posting what is unique to them and builds a consistent following. And so I think for me, I've really set my brand around just this like soulful playing. And so within that, it's kind of funk and like jazz ballads. Those are my two things. And so I think my followers see that and they obviously love it. And so that's what I post. That's what I'm confident and good at. And then they eat it up, I guess. They enjoy it. So.
Well, yeah, exactly. I think the authenticity.
Yeah.
Seeing that you are passionate about what you're putting out there
Mm-hmm.
and that you're genuine, that's infectious.
Yeah.
And then people want to, feel that. And that translates definitely. And along those same lines, what are some of the mistakes that you see musicians falling into or traps are falling into when it comes to promoting themselves on social media?
Not doing it. I think that's the biggest mistake you can make. And going through school and getting my music degree, they don't teach you to do that. I mean, I saw so many people that were just stuck in a practice room all day long. And yeah, they played better than me. I'll be the first one to say that. But I'm getting the gig and they're not. Like, that's just the harsh reality. Like, and don't get me wrong, I still practice. I still work. I'm a good player. But I'm also, I mean, I lost my scholarship because I was spending so much time networking that I didn't have time to do all the millions of ensembles they wanted me to do. And I said no, because I'm like, I'm going to instead spend my, 4 or 5 years here building up a career online. And then as soon as I graduated, I came straight to LA, and I'm working full time as a social media creator and a saxophonist. And I cannot say the same for some other people in my program. But I lost my scholarship because they punished me for doing that. And a lot of my other, people in the program, which are great players, are great people, but they were in the practice room. They were doing 5 ensembles, which, not saying that you should never do that. I think there's definitely a time and place for that. But if you're not out in the real world, posting, gigging, networking, connecting with people online. I mean, for the past 2 years, I've been connecting with artists in LA, knowing I was going to move out here. And so when I came out here, I already knew so many, specifically female instrumentalists that I am now friends with through online. So I think just not doing it is the biggest thing. Consistency is the best thing that you can do for your online presence and the algorithm overlord, right? And so obviously it's if you're just following trends or kind of selling yourself out a little bit that way, that too doesn't, like I was saying, create followers that are really invested in you as a player. But that's better than nothing, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So
I have here, how do you protect your creativity from being swallowed up by the demands of constant online posting?
That's a good question, because you do get burnt out sometimes. I think when I'm feeling very burnt out and I'm I just can't, I don't want to record anything today, because it is a really draining process, as you know. Like we were talking about, making content, it takes hours. But you can also repost that content. So if I'm not feeling like playing that day, and I'm always going to prioritize my mental health over anything. That's in my, journey with playing saxophone. I'm always prioritizing my mental health, because when I didn't, I almost quit. I literally, the summer Carson and I got married, I was going to quit saxophone. I was going to drop out of school. It was also because of some very sexist men in my program. But I was I wasn't prioritizing myself, and what I really loved was sax. And it literally almost cost me my career. And so now I'm very much going on a, do I want to do this? Do I find passion in this base? And then if I am I don't want to play today, because I have so much content, I'll just repost something from 2 years ago that, most of my followers haven't seen before. So there's a way I have it set up that I'm always prioritizing doing what I love. So,
I want to ask you, what made you decide on LA? If there's so much of the online aspect.
Yeah. Well, partially because my husband's a producer.
That'll do it.
This little guy over there. So I think being out here for production is way more important than sax, for sure. But I kind of maxed out the industry in Utah. And I needed to go somewhere else, for sure, just to get out of there too. I mean, I was raised in Utah. I went to school 30 minutes away from where I was born. I need to get out of here. So there's that. But then also, there's not a lot of women playing in jazz specifically. And even out here, there's not a lot, but there's some, which is awesome. So I've made so many incredible friends out here that I'm I love being surrounded by women that are just as passionate as I am, because most of my career, I'm the only woman in the world. I'm the only woman in the room, right? 30 guys, and it's just me. Which can be fun, right? I love hanging with the bros, but it gets tiring, and it's been so fun. I since I moved out here, I'm playing in an all-girl big band as lead alto called the Blackberry Project, done by my friend Amanda Mora, she's on trombone. She's the lead trombonist. That was like one of my favorite things in the world. Like even just rehearsing with them, just having all girls. Oh my gosh, that was incredible. And so that's something I definitely wouldn't be able to experience in Utah.
Yeah, there are so many talented jazz musician women here. It's amazing. I remember when I first got to LA and just being blown away, because there's definitely more now that it's getting better each year. I would say, just based on what I've seen.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely just a lot of incredible musicians here.
Yeah.
And that is hard to find.
Yes.
It's just good musicians. Well, there are a lot of good musicians all over.
For sure.
The country.
Yeah.
But in one community,
Mm-hmm.
even though LA is tough to get around sometimes, but they're here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to do a lightning round. Okay, now, some of these questions can be answered in one word.
Okay.
Some you might want to elaborate on, but they're all music business oriented.
Okay. My two favorite things. I love it.
Okay. Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, if you could only keep one.
Instagram.
Why?
Because I think that's where you really build up a fan base. I think I have a platform on all of them. But I think Instagram is where you're it's the platform where you're seeing the content from people you follow. So your followers are going to be seeing you a lot more. That's where I see the most engagement by far.
Better investment, new mic or new camera?
New mic.
Why?
Because I don't think people care as much about camera quality. Like iPhone cameras, I think work great. If anything, it kind of people like the not very formal content creation, but they do really appreciate a good sound. That for sure is important.
Yeah, I kind of had to get over the video quality thing.
Yeah.
I really.
And you kind of just can't have good video quality, right? They turn it down. Have you noticed that? They make your videos fuzzy. You're like, I spent so much money on this camera for them to make it look worse. What?
Well, I had to learn that you can't do 4K.
Yeah, no, you can't.
That took me a while.
Yeah.
Because the sound would be out of sync in the way that it would. And I was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you batch your content or post in the moment? Or both?
Batch your content. Is that I film it all in one day and then?
Yeah, like you've you basically are filming a week's worth or a couple days worth or a month's worth, and then
Oh yeah, I'm not capable of that. No, if I do one video, it's going to take me 6 hours. No. Yeah, I mean, what I typically do is I post every Tuesday and Friday, and I'll film Friday's video on Thursday. And then I'll start in the afternoon. I'll practice a little bit. I'll record it. I'll edit it together. Carson, my husband, will help me mix it. And then I edit the video and then I schedule it across all platforms for the next day at 10 a.m. So that's kind of how I do it. Every week I do record. And then with Tuesday, it's typically my viral videos are typically Fridays. And then Tuesdays are more of my maintenance days. That makes sense. And so I'll post just if it'll maybe be a repost on Tuesday, or it'll be just a video of me jamming that's not as high quality. And it'll take me 30 minutes to record instead of a whole 6-hour process.
Did you pick Tuesdays and Fridays just because that's kind of what you fell into and that's what people expect? Or is there a strategic reason other than that?
I think, yeah, it's that's where I found my consistency that worked with my schedule, and also just that I found people engaging with. I mean, posting on the weekend, people are naturally on their phones more, and so they'll see it more. But yeah, I mean, I've just found that Friday mornings are just the sweet spot for me. But I think overall with social media, anybody that asks me about it, this is immediately my my one-liner that I give them is it's 80% consistency, 20% luck. So it's if you're consistent for however long, someday that 20% luck is going to kick in and you're going to have something do well, and then you'll build off of that. So it's like, if you have the consistency, no matter what day you're posting on, it's going to kick in eventually.
Oh, I love that. One app or tool every musician should be using.
I have 2 answers.
Okay.
I think app for practicing audio stretch.
I'm not familiar. Tell me about it.
So that's really important with transcribing. The reason I sound the way I sound is because of transcribing. I think saxophone, becoming a good player is like you imitate, I don't know, 10 of your different favorite artists, and then you kind of just pick and choose what you like from each of them, and then that creates your own sound. But it's a great imitation game with it. And so I think transcribing using audio stretch makes it really easy, because it allows you on your phone to slow it down, speed it up without changing pitch. You can loop things, you can sustain a note when you're transcribing by ear, so it makes it so much easier. So I've transcribed so many songs, and that's what allowed me to really get in the nitty-gritty with it. So audio stretch, that's my favorite app for that. And then, I mean, it's stupid, but CapCut for TikTok. I mean, that's where I can really quickly edit my videos on my phone. I think that's just the best way to go about it, for sure.
Yeah, I gotta check out that transcription.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, because I typically use I just go on YouTube, and then I'll just slow it down, and I just keep hitting J.
Oh my
To go back
gosh.
10 seconds. It's like pretty
This is going to
inefficient.
change your life, because, oh my gosh, that cursor, I can't like sliding it back and forth. It's so bad. So with this, you can physically drag the audio file to where then you see the sound waves. So you can it's just incredible. So it'll be great.
And then can you loop then?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can slow it down to 60% and loop it. And then I think that's where the magic happens with transcribing, for sure.
Yeah, if it's really challenging, I'll use transcribe. But you have to have the audio file. So I have to find it somewhere. If I have to download it, which is
fine. It's just an extra step.
For sure.
Okay. Hashtags, essential or overrated?
Essential. But they look so cheesy. Oh, I hate it. It's so cringe. I hate it. And that's so Gen Z of me to say. But oh my gosh, I'm embarrassed every time I use them. But you have to do it. It's just, it helps the algorithm categorize what your video is, especially on TikTok, because you have to I think now they only let you do 5 hashtags, but it'll categorize at the top what your video is, so then people can look at more videos like that. But without the hashtags, I think it's a lot harder to get your video to the right audience. So it looks stupid, though. I hate it. But I mean, I just use the same hashtags every single time, like saxophonist, saxophone, music, musician, jazz, funk, viral, trending. I use those.
Yeah, I actually took a course once on Instagram, just a day thing.
Oh, interesting.
Because I had no idea anything about it. This was years ago. And they said that you want to niche down for your hashtags, because 1 million people post saxophone. But those people might not be the people that will follow you into a more deep connection, so to speak.
For sure.
As opposed to Daddario or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm always trying to figure out, is that true, or what's the best?
Yeah, I mean, I think I always try to have a hashtag. I do the usuals, like I mentioned, and then I'll have a hashtag that's specific to the song that I'm playing. So if it's Stevie Wonder or Michael Jackson or jazz standard, or, on TikTok, a really good thing that people should try to take advantage of is people post photo dumps to what they think of as aesthetic sounds, right? So jazz is one of those things. And if you can get people to recognize it as a vibey, dreamy thing, they're going to post using your sound. And then that will get you millions of streams, literally. So also reaching that audience. So it's your intended, it's if you want people to use it for their posts as more of a vibe, setter for their posts, or if you want people to like see you as an artist and follow you as a fan. It's kind of like what your overall intention is with the video and the audio itself specifically.
Followers or email list, which matters more long term?
Email list is great because you have control over it. I mean, with TikTok going down, that I could lose 130,000 followers like that. And I have no control over it. It's all on another platform. I have no way of contacting them. But with my email subscriptions, I mean, Donald Trump's not going to take that away from me. So it's like, maybe he will. He'll come find me. But so yes, like the email list in that way is really great. But at the same time, I don't check my email. I do check social media. So it's kind of the trade-off, right? It's like, people are probably seeing your stuff way more if you post online. I mean, I get 10, 12,000 views on my stories because people are checking that. I definitely do not have that with my email list, but I also have control over it. So I think it kind of just pros and cons.
Definitely. One post you made that surprised you by going big.
Oh, the Isn't She Lovely one. Have you seen that one? Did you? Yeah. Every time I post it, it goes viral. Every single time. And here's what I think it is. I think I got the perfect mic placement. And I've never been able to recreate it. Never. It pisses me off. But I think people just really see my personality in it. I mean, I like do a little hook at the beginning where I'm like, watch this. And then there's movement. And so I think that also catches people's attention. But I think, I don't know, it was a combination of hook, movement, personality, good tone, and a recognizable song. But I had no idea that was gonna, and it's still like every time I post it, I gain like 10,000 followers. Genuinely, it's great. And when I don't want to record, I'm like, I know something that'll work. So I'm just gonna pull that out. But yeah.
Well, that's a great one to have in your back pocket, definitely.
For sure, yeah.
Scheduling apps, yes or no?
Like third-party apps?
Yeah.
I'd never used that. I only schedule through Instagram, and then I also just cross-post that to Facebook. That works great. TikTok scheduling option, horrible. I hate it. So I just post on TikTok and YouTube. I just post. So no, I don't use those. It would probably make my life easier, though. I mean, I post on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube every single time. So 4 different platforms. I mean, it gets like a lot. Twice a week. Yeah. And managing everything on all platforms. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I should get into it.
Well, I'm only on two platforms primarily, consistently, Instagram and YouTube, but I'm doing that every day.
Ooh, so scheduling would probably be way.
So, yeah, I find sometimes if I can get a week scheduled,
that really frees up a lot of time.
For sure.
But it takes me a whole day to do it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a trade-off.
I will say, if I schedule a post, I'll forget about it. Like if I'm forced to like post it myself, then I actually engage with what people comment, and because I get so many messages and DMs and all this stuff, and so it's kind of easy for me to be like, oh, I'll schedule ahead, and then I just forget I did it. But
that's true. You definitely have to check at least every day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you think AI is a threat or an opportunity for jazz? It's kind of a loaded question.
That is a loaded question. I don't know. I'm undecided. My dad thinks it's an opportunity. It's kind of a sink or swim situation, which it definitely is, right? Like AI is coming for us, whether we like it or not. But as an opportunity, I don't know. I'm curious. What would you see as like an opportunity for jazz musicians? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, certainly in the AI or in the social media sphere, jazz musicians still need to use that, and AI can be super helpful in helping to refine the content in some way. if that's, helping to test certain taglines or whatever it might be, or coming up with strategies. It can be great for brainstorming. I like to use it to analyze my videos and tell me things.
So like within the marketing aspect, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you see something like within like jazz itself?
I think jazz is one of the last bastions of free will and creativity.
No, that's so true, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, when it comes to improvisation, I think...
Replicate this AI. Yeah, for sure.
And to some degree, I'm sure it's going to be able to do at least some of the stuff that I play.
Yeah.
But, the feeling, the interaction with all of those other elements, because it really is like democracy in motion, in the moment. So, yeah, I feel like we're pretty far off when it comes to that aspect.
Thanks so much for watching this masterclass and interview with Bryn and Ripley. I hope you got out of this as much as I did. Her honesty about mental health, her approach to time feel, her stories from the bandstand, and her business mindset are all things we can take into our own playing and careers. If you want to take the next steps, I've got 3 resources for you. First, the Jazz Saxophone Standards Etude Workbook. Over 70 pages of complete etudes, exercises, and insights from some of the most important tunes in jazz. It's designed to work directly alongside the video lessons here on the channel, so check the link in the description for an incredible special offer, trust me. Second, the Jazz Saxophone Blueprint. This digital course is a complete roadmap to mastering tone, articulation, and time feel. It's packed with 25 video lessons, play-alongs, and a 179-page workbook that will help you build the fundamentals the right way. And finally, the Next Level Sax community. This is where it all comes together. Weekly PDF lessons, access to live stream masterclasses, exclusive content, and a community of saxophonists learning and growing together. So if you enjoyed this masterclass, take a moment to check out those resources below, and of course, make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss future interviews, lessons, and masterclasses. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll see you in the next video. Happy practicing.